This is my channel, Evolve with Monad. For those of you that are new here, I'm a professional intuitive empath, and so what I like to do is take a look at what's going on with our pop culture, what's going on in our world, what's going on with us, and I like to evaluate that and help you understand it. If you're interested in zodiac signs, then stay tuned. If you're interested in pop culture regarding this night, stay tuned. This is about the curious case of Will Smith. Will Smith is a Libra. What I saw tonight was a man who has been out of balance trying to reclaim his balance for a while. I'm not going to excuse poor behavior. I'm not going to excuse physical abuse. I'm not going to excuse any of this, as I know Will Smith's story fully. And I know what he came from, what he watched, and what he witnessed, and the vows he's made not to perpetrate this kind of abuse domestically, in any case, upon his family because of what he witnessed. He has books out, he has information. There's a lot of information there to read. He's also quite motivating, which I know is a weird thing to say juxtaposed against tonight. Even tonight, I found him the perfect blend of confusion, balance, grace, complete loss of control, as well as candor. There was a rawness and a vulnerability. He was what Jussie Smollett thought he was doing when he was in the courtroom. He pleaded his case. He defended his family. He acknowledged his folly. He accepted his award. At the end, a little bit of humor, interjecting the wise words of Denzel, a Capricorn, fathering energy if ever there were. Saturn is the planet that is ruled by Capricorn, or Capricorn rules Saturn in any case. What I will say to you about that is Saturn is the planet of hard and long lessons associated with patriarchy and fathering. If Denzel Washington isn't fathering, I don't know who is. And in the moment, like he would with his kids, like we saw him do in the movie Fences, he talked to Will and he said something that got his heart to be still and got his brain to thinking. He said, "The devil always comes for you when you're at your highest moment." Something to that effect. I'm paraphrasing it. It was just interesting because what I was doing was watching everybody play their part from my purview, which is me looking at it from a zodiac chart. It was fascinating. Chris Rock, who is an Aquarius. Aquarius energy is the maverick. They are unconventional. They are quirky. They don't care about being with the group, though they understand humanity. And that's why Chris Rock can do what he does. Meaning that he has his finger on the pulse, or has had for many years. We can all debate his off years or his on years, but we cannot debate that he has not been a philosopher in a comedic way, observing us and parsing us and picking us apart and putting us back together. Unfortunately for Chris tonight, the opportunity met the moment where Will put him in a place. Some would say his place. That's up for you to decide. That's up for you to debate. I will give you the evidence. Chris has made jokes about many, and he also made a joke about Jada previously. 2016, I'm sure the footage will be aplenty by tomorrow. It already is tonight. He talked about Jada not being invited to the Oscars when she said she was boycotting it because she wanted her husband to win. And when he did, spoiler alert, he won for King Richard. In this interesting Melu, this pepper pot, this callaloo, Will is up there after slapping the ever-loving Taste in form that looked like Gene Kelly Grace, like Fred Astaire, the way he slapped him. And I'm not trying to glorify it, but watch it for yourself and see if the form did not befit him. It looked like a movie, and I think that people were perplexed initially because it was so much like a skit. So much so that I think that Chris Rock almost bought it until he didn't. Until he realized, oh shit, this just happened. People quip that he should have said something like, "What an entanglement we have here," but I think that Will had in fact slapped the fear of something in his mouth. I don't know if it was God. I don't know if it was Will. I don't know if it was Jada. What I know is that moments later, Will wins the Oscar for King Richard, playing the father of Serena and Venus Williams, the iconic twin sisters that are not twins, excuse me, who are juggernauts in the tennis community. Juggernauts, athletically, period. Fight me. With their family sitting astride them, Venus and Serena looked on as Will lip sang for his life. Shout out to Mama Roo. If you don't love yourself, how are you going to love others? How are you going to love your family? And that's the case that Will pleaded. A Libra at the brink of insanity for all of us to see, peeled back so desperately bare before us. It was captivating. It will go down in history. It already has. The memes will be aplenty. Twitter woke up. Everybody needs the flow chart. And because we are messy, as Nikki just said recently in her latest drop, bitches is messy. It's true. We're messy. We love this. We love the fodder. We love the hit, the slap. We loved the payback, because who among us have never been in a position where we have felt bullied by someone and they got away with it? So maybe it was never forgotten. Will took his cue from Jada, a Virgo, earth sign, grudges held, things never forgotten, though Jada has put Will through many things. And that is what this new conversation will bring. You did this to him, but you did not do this to August Alsina, allegedly. Go to the Red Table Talk. I'm not saying it. It's them. Promise you, it's not just me. They put their business out there for us to discuss. I think of the transgender woman, Laverne Cox, who recently literally dodged her own slap chop from Will when she brought up the entanglement on a smaller red carpet as they were leading up to this. She was interviewing them and she took a cheap shot about something that we're all kind of over, but now I know she'll be in the conversation again. This Virgo woman signals to her husband, one eye droopily falling in disgust. Will laughs at first because he wants to play it off, and he says as much as he accepts his award later. Sometimes you're in a moment and then you're called to do something greater. It was such an interesting juxtaposition. A Libra man who had completely lost it, trying to bring balance back. The devil had, in fact, sucked the air out of his moment, and then he was trying to explain away an attack, explain it as grace, explain it as standing up for people to get in your family's face. He says, here I am. Life is an imitating art. I am King Richard. And now the crows and the vultures will tear me apart. I am the insane father, the black insane father defending his family. And now you guys get to freely call me crazy. And yet the Academy has awarded me as one of the greatest in history. It's powerful stuff. It's prose. And the zeitgeist could not get enough. This Libra man, completely imbalanced and yet somehow causing all of us to balance up. Meeny, meeny, tinkle. It's something said in the Bible when God judges a kingdom. And it means the writing, well, it's about the writing being on the wall. It's not that. That's not what it means. What it actually means, the translation, the best way I can give it to you is this. You have been weighed in the balance and found wanting. As a society, I decree, I say, I think that it is us who has been found wanting. See, we love to suck this up. And in Will's greatest moment, things didn't add up, and yet somehow they did. I was captivated watching him tonight, just like when I was a kid. Late nights would turn into early mornings, like 1, 2 in the morning, back when cable was burgeoning and just becoming part of our life. I remember being at my father's house and staying up all night to watch The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Now, this is a story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down. Tonight, Will was right there at a moment where everything was topsy-turvy. I would watch him and laugh. I knew the song backwards and forwards. I knew Uncle Phil. I knew Will. I knew Aunt Viv. I knew the kids. I knew Hillary. I knew the Carl Banks dance. My father would tiptoe into my room. I would wake up one eye and see him with a glance, taking the remote from my hands to slip it back into the TV. Yes, that's how old I am. It was the 80s. Back into the TV. Our TV had a little pocket where you pushed it and the remote popped out. He would turn it off, and I would pretend not to rouse. I loved Will so much. He was a part of my childhood, a part of my life. Summertime. Getting jiggy with it. Every movie, bad and good. We are the men in black. Galaxy Defenders. Tonight, he was a defender of his family. I find myself, I think, unfortunately, when you give a debate, when you put something up, you are supposed to not let it be known which direction you take. Semantics and logic was a favorite for me. I was great on the debate team, but tonight I'm looking at this man and I'm looking at his fight. I'm looking at the way that he's been pushed into the light, how he emits light, how he has lost his way on many a days as he has had to fight. He is Ali, the greatest of all time. Roles that he's played that have embodied some of the best black men, some of the best men, some of the worst of them. It's hard to define. A Libra that was always destined to shine. But tonight, this was his greatest role, and it was his most detrimental. Exactly the scales of justice held up before us. You have been weighed in the balance and found wanting. Mene, mene, tekel. For many, they are indignant. How could you? How dare you? How would you? It's assault. Arrest him. Press charges. For others, they understand it. I would have. I should have. If it was me, in a second, any day, try it. He had it coming. He had it coming. He had it coming. With the glitterati surrounding him, many that have played in that play, Chicago. I think of Queen Latifah there and other people that you will know. The Rock with one eyebrow raised. Do you smell what The Rock is cooking? This will go down for days and days. Be discussed, be think peace to death, and so I thought I'd offer my best. It was humanity on display. In a world where Lady Gaga led the way afterwards on the white carpet to the Elton John AIDS Foundation gala, we all live for the applause. She just wrote it. But every actor and actress in that room lives for it. Where in our lives do we live for the applause too? Is it in the way that your loved ones love you? Is it in the way that they defend and stick up for you? What do you do to someone who offends you again and again? How many times do you turn the other cheek? And if it's not a friend, do you dare slap them down in defeat? And if you slap them down, is it your defeat that brings you to an end? Fascinating. It was fascinating to me. So much so I had to jump on here because I said somebody has got to see. And if you love astrology and if you love the zodiac signs, a Libra, an Aquarius, and a Virgo walk into the Oscars and they redefine the landscape of not only the culture, but Black America, but marriage in America. What does that mean? The Smiths have been on the slippery side of that slope. We have been trying to define all the things we know, not the things we suspect, not conjecture, not the things we gossip about, the things they've said out of their own mouths. What business is it of ours? And others would say they made it our business in a red table way. Shout out to Alexander Rogers. Jada's business. It's off key, but he's a great content creator on here and he sings it brilliantly. Jada's business. She put out a buffet before us to discuss, to pick apart, and at the heart of the matter, at the heart of that slap, at the heart of the disrespect that Will felt as he stepped up and pulled his hand back and connected it with Chris's face to bring disgrace to both of them somehow, to bring honor to her, finally. When I looked at that stage and I watched the playbacks, that's what I did see. A man who had snapped and said, I'm bringing respect back. Now, many will say, I don't respect him. He's lost my money. He's lost my vote. Cancel culture is interesting and it's watered down now. Here's what I saw, someone who was broken. He's been humiliated at Jada's business table, at the Red Talk table. He's been humiliated that Jada lost herself in an entanglement and he became the butt of the joke. This man who everybody loved, and Will's personality is larger than life. A Libra person is charismatic, but they're opinionated and they love their family and they love their wife if they are committed. And whatever their commitment is, it's none of our business, right? Or is it? You see? That's that Libra balance of imbalance. And that's what I saw tonight. He was fighting himself. When I talk about shadow and light, what you witness happened there tonight. The darkest of us, the lightest of us, and it all is inside of just one of us. Each one of us has the capacity to do what Will did tonight. When he turned after he hit Chris and walked away, it wasn't a saunter, it was a swagger. And I said, baby, Jay is going to fuck him tonight. I know that's so inappropriate, but that's the truth. It was sexy. And I thought, wow, you know why this affected me this way? Because it was primal. He reacted to what his wife felt. Initially, there was a laugh, uncomfortable, but then he shifted gears into protection mode. And I don't care what a pacifist you claim to be, we are all wired primally. We want someone who will defend us, someone who will protect us, someone who will love us. I am not talking about a Cinderella complex. I'm talking about being understood. I'm talking about being seen. I'm talking about having someone step up for you actually. I don't care if you've been in an abusive situation with your family and someone didn't step up to protect you. I'm not talking about your lover. I'm talking about your brother, your father, your cousins, your uncles. I'm talking to my women here. And if you are a man and someone did not step up to protect you, the mother that intercepted the slap chop or the punch or the hit or the inappropriate contact, domestically abuse that was given to you, if you're a man here listening, what did you want that mother to do or another man to do? Yes, we all have to learn how to take our blows. We all have to learn how to come nose to nose with the bullies. But there is something about the nurturing of having someone say, not today, Satan. It's between me and them. And you stand back. I got you, son. And in a marriage, right? Libra rules partnership. That's what Will Smith is. That's why you've heard him say, bad marriage for life. Jada may have very easily walked away. And also, we saw that she did. She was vacant. She left the building to go play with Mr. August Alsina. Allegedly, not so allegedly. And the reason that she did that is because that's the place she wanted to be. But Will committed in his commitment, and he doubled down. Some could call him a cuck, some could call him a clown. But tonight, on this night, he showed everybody he does not play around. And he's tired. I watched that, and I thought he's tired. And he will not be tried again. Or people will try to try him again, and the question will be risen. Can he fight everyone? No, he can't. And he won't. But he was broken in a way that many of us can never imagine. Can you imagine the whole world having an opinion about your relationship? We can barely take it when it's just a sister, a nosy cousin, an aunt, a bestie, right? Can you imagine everybody talking about you night after night? And yes, again, his wife talked about it too. But it was something happening to him, and he is vulnerable just like you. God, I sound like his barrister. I am not. But man, I saw something that will never be forgotten. This was a man who is besotted with his wife. It's a rare thing to see in the celebrity Hollywood glitterati life. He is besotted. It's like something out of a Jane Austen novel. And leave it to a Libra man, ruling partnership and connection to bring it to us so vividly, so clearly in technicolor. Kodachroma brings us the lights of summer, greens of summer. It was a brilliant display of fallibility. It was a brilliant display of humanity. It was a brilliant display of ignorance and swagger and primal defense. Chris Rock is allowed to say whatever he wants to say. That is the comedian's way. We're not going to censor speech, and this will be a great debate about this. And the comedians will rally, etc., etc. The comedians seem to be having their heyday right now. Pete Davidson, etc. And you can't talk to them, and you can, and you shouldn't, because freedom of speech matters. And they are the ones who paint out our society, and no one should be decked in the face because they're funny or not funny. But, when you do something, there are consequences that you will have to deal with. You can do and say and be any way you want to be, and you will have consequences. Will have consequences for this. People may not want to work with him. People may pull sponsorships. People may like him more. People may rescind. He could lose his Oscar. That could be a debate that they rescind the Oscar because of him defacing and causing chaos there. Now, let's talk about business and ratings. They're going to love that shit. They're going to love every second of it because the Oscars has gotten so much flack for a myriad of things. And tonight they had a lot of record groundbreaking things happen. First deaf man in history to win, first out lesbian to win. A lot of things happening that were brilliant. Questlove of the Roots winning, as well as other people. It was an incredible night for diversity. However, my God, the story will be this. A man defending his wife with an open fist. Pulling back and making it sound so crisp, it sliced through the mic. We understood that this wasn't going to be a take that had a psych after it. Will was pleased with himself. Years of rage pent up, let out. The Virgo wife that he answers to finally vindicated, defended. I don't know what he thought he was going to do with that. You see, I'm still processing this, guys. I don't have any answers, but to see the Zodiac way on display fascinated me. Chris Rock, the Aquarius, not giving a damn what anybody thinks. He will become a legend after this. Again, he's already immortalized in the comedic community. And forget about it, in Hollywood, period. Everybody knows Chris. He's written on so many things. Life imitated art. Didn't he write Everybody Hates Chris? Life imitated art, actually, tonight. Will everybody hate or love Chris? That remains to be seen. He will spin this properly, accordingly. I want to talk about the Black community, because what was happening was what should happen in any situation like this. And it's something that all of the world got to witness. I saw people on Twitter of all colors having opinions and saying this isn't rude and this shouldn't have happened and this was déclassé and Chris was so classy for keeping it going, etc., 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 etc. But what I was knowing as it was happening was that this was going to be handled by the Black men collective, not just in our outer sphere to talk about. It happened right there. We saw it. Tyler Perry walked it out. Denzel walked it out. Samuel L. Jackson was there. Diddy said it after he introduced his next speech. He said, Chris and Will, we're going to work this out at this next after party. And I don't think that they necessarily are going to kumbaya and touch foreheads and do an Eskimo kiss. But I know that there will be some Black delegation meeting about this. The Black delegation, I'm giving air quotes, okay? It's a funny thing from Dave Chappelle, actually. I'm interested to see what Dave Chappelle says, too, because he's going to, I think, ride for his comedian broski. I wonder what he's going to say. Does he think it was the right thing for Will to do? The Black delegation is a skit that Dave Chappelle created from his iconic show, The Chappelle Show. And it's where Black people would gather And it was fictional, of course, but it's the idea that black people gather to trade, black people that have, betrayed their blackness, if you will, or that have done some egregious thing or how to solve a problem. And it was hilariously funny, but the black delegation is real. We watched recently as Kanye and Drake had this like dinner with that weird like triangle. It looked very Illuminati-ish allegedly. But Diddy, Jay-Z, and all of those people were there tonight are very known for talking it out amongst the guys. Will is humble. I know it seems crazy to say that. If you listen to his Oscar speech as he accepted and basked and also cowered in the moment, because I could see this like the inner child in him came out. And it was compelling. He was apologizing and he was accepting and he was celebrating and he was contrite and he was aware of what a big moment this was in his life. Not just winning the Oscar, but having the devil come through him on display moments before the biggest, brightest thing would come his way. You can't tell me spiritual warfare is not real. That is the real deal, what we just saw tonight. He was this mass of quivering, nose running, unhinged, unhitched message. He, in the movie Hitch, where he plays, he is this I know everything dating coach that has advice for days and days. But here, he was just Will. He was Will who reacted. He was Will who watched his father pummel his mother. He was Will who promised he would never do that to his wife. He was Will who lost brothers and lost people in his life and watched them turn into the worst of themselves after they watched the mother and father fight, but it wasn't ever a fair one. He was Will who loves his children. He was Will who's been picked on. He was Will who has an ego that's the size of Saturn. He was Will. It was a Saturn lesson, and it was a bitter pill. A Libra, an Aquarius, and a Virgo walk into the Oscars. And for me, they changed the world. Each of them were playing their roles precisely to their signs. Will, charismatic yet opinionated, Libra, all day. A little bit of toxic masculinity. Chris Rock making fun of Jada's alopecia, and Aquarius who doesn't give a fuck and says what he wants to say, because that is exactly the Aquarius way. And a Virgo who has chewed the cud of that grudge day after day and gave a nod to her partner in a henchman sort of way. Another famous Virgo you know, who has people that do her bidding while she keeps her composure, was in the crowd next to Jay-Z, the one and only Miss Beyonce. Take a quick look at her picture when that happened. Jay-Z was appalled, shocked, surprised. Beyonce had a little bit of mischief and glitter in her eyes. Some say it was PTSD because she's seen that before in the elevator between Solange and her husband. An interesting evening that we will talk about for a while, because on this evening, Hollywood did truly beguile us with a spectacle. Humanity on display. And even though we don't like to admit we are this way, we all live for the applause. Guys, so good to chat with you tonight. Come back and join me next time. Come back and join me. Hey, Momo's Happy Place. I freaking love when you come here, girl. You make me so happy. Love the astrological perspective. Thank you. Many blessings. Many blessings to you, my love. And Purple Hearts back. I love you so much. All right, come back and join me next time, guys, and we'll continue to evolve together.